Welcome to Wickton Branch NFU Farm Walk. A farm walk with a difference today. We are doing a virtual tour of a pig farm, Airler Farm, owned and run by Dairy Farming Company Limited. Christie family at Dairy have been farming pigs since the business began in 1954. We currently have 200 breeding sows, farrow to finish, selling close to 6,000 pigs per annum. Our pigs are sold through the marketing cooperative Scotland, of which I'm the director as well. Through Scotland, our pigs are currently going to Tulip. Tulip has got, the two sites that I sell to at Tulip are one in Manchester and one in Brecon. Okay, to get the ball rolling, we will start at the boiler house. This is the dry sow house. We're in the breeding house, dry sow house. This is the boiler room of the whole place. In each, we've got 6 pens of sows. 6 pens of, and in each pen there's 30 sows. So these, the sows are kept in free access stalls, which is what these are. So the sows get the choice to either get in or out. That's locked, so nobody can get in. But if she wants to come out, she has to, just pushes that, and out she can come. I think it's the best way of keeping sows. In the stall they've got their food, their water, and they've also got solitude if they choose to have it. Now, all these sows can get out if they choose to. In this pen, there's number 4. There's number 4 that came out. So there's 4 out of, I think we've maybe got 28 in here. There's 4 out of 28 sows not inside, which I think suggests quite a lot about the so-called pitfalls of intensive pig production. Why do we have the stalls at all? The stalls allow us to work with animals. So when we need to vaccinate or AI, we can do it there. Easy to work in, good access. The sows are safe. Welfare's pretty good, excellent even. Right. So at this end of the breeding house, this is where we keep our replacement gilts. We breed our own replacements on farm. Like the sows, there's 6 pens of breeding gilts per, well, six breeding gilts per batch of breeding animals that we have. To bring these gilts into season, obviously these gilts, this particular group they're from 2 families, and they've all cycled. We know that they're fertile, but they all breed at different days. I need these animals to breed in the same day essentially, so I synchronise them, and we do that with a product called Regimate. Now these gilts start Regimate, the treatment of that on Friday, this Friday coming, 3 days time. So currently we're training the gilts to take Regimate. Now I'll just show you what we do. And this is an old Regimate canister, and it's filled up with orange squash. So I'm training the gilts to basically take the gun. Right, come on. This is the second day of training that they've had. As you can see, they've got the hang of it already. I bring the gilts into these pens at about 60 kilograms. Here's the last group that came up. These are the youngest ones. Here's an information card for each group of gilts. That's their numbers, that's where they came from, and various vaccinations and management. We're now going to go through and have a look in the farrowing accommodation where the fruits of the work in the dry sow house come to bear. When we built the farm, we put in extra farrowing crates. So in actual fact, in each room there's 36 farrowing crates, but at any one time, we farrow down 25 sows, but we probably still use 30 crates, 30 stalls. When we took the pigs into the farm in 2013, we bought gilts from Denmark. We looked at Denmark and thought these guys are making a job of pig production. Big numbers, plenty of pigs to sell, and they seem to be coping with the world pig market. So we bought Danish genetics, and it's been successful. These are what you would class as hyper-prolific sows. So these animals started farrowing Friday past. They've all farrowed within 3 days, and I think I worked it out yesterday. The born alive average for this group is just over 17. So it's just over 17 piglets born per sow. Now that in itself creates a massive challenge because she's only got 14 teats. So what we do is we use what we call nurse sows. So I've got another farm shed next door. We bring a sow that has reared a litter of piglets already, bring her back and give her another litter of piglets. So that creates the extra teat space that we need. So we're selecting for the sows who are keeping as many piglets as possible, or the most piglets alive after 5 days after birth. The feeding system in here is the Danish, it's a Canadian system. These blue feeders, these are called Gestel feed system. So these feed the sows on an ad lib system that is capped. So the sows can't eat and eat and eat and eat, but they can eat up to a quantity per day. So if we look at the feeder, we've got the sow's information here. When the sow gives birth, we program what age she is, so that determines what feeding curve that she goes on, and it's all pre-programmed to feed that animal so that she lactates to her maximum. Traditionally and conventionally in the UK and worldwide, I guess, pig farms run on a weekly system. So they breed every week, they farrow every week, they wean every week. Because of the size of what we've got, we have to generate a bit of scale. So we decided that we would do things on a 3-weekly system. And we can do that because the sow cycles every 21 days. So it works well for what we do because it breaks up the main tasks. So 1 week we'll breed, that's the main task of the week. The next week, the main task of the week will be farrowing, what we've got in here. And then in the 3rd week, the main task that happens that week will be weaning. So I'm farrowing down 25 sows every 3 weeks. If I was doing a weekly system, I'd be farrowing down maybe, well, 8 or 9 I suppose. We're now going to look at the post-weaning accommodation for the pigs. The first bit is the nursery accommodation. We've got 3 rooms, and we generally put in try and get about 350 pigs into each room. As you can see, it's clean, been pressure washed, disinfected, all set up for the next group of animals to come in. One thing that we try and be particularly sharp on is biosecurity, health and hygiene. The health of the animals in the farm is good. Nobody comes in, with the exception of very special guests. These all work from the perimeter. When I come to work in the morning, we shower in and shower out, change footwear between different parts of the farm. From when the pigs come in to when they leave, it's about 50 days. The room we were just in, the clean room, is for the piglets, the youngest piglets. They're going to go into that room. These ones in here are the next oldest, so they're 3 weeks older than what we just saw. So these pigs were weaned 12 days ago, and they will be approaching 12 kilograms or so average, maybe a bit more than that. They're fed ad lib in the hoppers. They're now onto an ad lib home produced ration. When they're first weaned, they go into a bought-in creep diet. Currently there's 350 pigs in here, just over that I think. 6 pens. We usually put 50 to 60 pigs in each room, each pen. All the rooms in the farm, dry sow house, lactation house, nursery finishers, they're all controlled by this. This is a SCOV, which is a climate control ventilation system. We can do all sorts with this. If we go into this here, this icon here, this gives us the house data. This is nursery 3. There's 354 pigs in there. They've been in there for 19 days. Into ventilation, tells us some information about the ventilation. The minimum ventilation is 3.8 metres cubed per hour. Now, there's various additional add-ons you can get using this system. If we want, there's a sprinkler system in the room. So if we want to put the sprinklers on to soak it pre-pressure washing, we can do that. So for instance, every 20 minutes, the sprinklers could be on for 4 minutes. And we can run that for, well, last time it was on, we run that for 19 hours. So basically we soak the pens overnight to make the pressure washing as easy as possible. These pigs have been in here for nursery 2, they're in day 40. So nearly 6 weeks weaned, 7 weeks weaned. 6 weeks weaned? Fuck knows. Look at that. Sorry boys. These pigs will be getting moved out of here probably a week on Friday. In the nursery house, we are essentially targeting 500, trying to target an average of 500 grams per day of growth. I think 500 grams a day would be good, acceptable even. In this smaller pen here, this is normally where we put a replacement breeding stock. They're a different breed to the other animals. Now, what's maybe of interest here, unlike the other pigs, these pigs have got long tails. This is a bit of a trial. So far, so good, it's working. Keeping pigs with tails intact is very challenging. A serious welfare issue if it doesn't work. The reason I'm doing this, I'd quite like the breeding animals on the farm to have long tails. It gives you something to hold on to, help you manage the animal. But two, I want to try and get away from the routine tail docking that we do. And if tail docking is phased out, we need to be prepared for that. So I need to understand and know how I'm going to be able to do it. Inside, we've got the nursery rooms that we've just been in. Slatted passageway here, and the opposite side of the slatted passageway is the finisher rooms, of which there's 4. The pigs are coming out of the nursery room at about 50 days post-weaning. So it's 50 days post-weaning, 75 days of age, approximately. So all these rooms are identical. There's 10 pens in every room. So the pigs are coming in here about 35 kilograms average weight. They stay here until they're finished. They stay here until they go in the lorry. The last few complete batches of animals that went through these rooms, I'll be doing well in excess of 1,100 grams a day. So there's 322 pigs in this room. So if I come in here later in the week, I'm going to select 100, which is then going to leave 222. I'll leave them for 2 weeks and come back in and then take a second draw. I can get 200 pigs in the lorry. I'll probably take 190 out, which will leave 32 pigs back. And I'll keep them for another week or so, and then get rid of them. Finally, into the feed mill to have a look at the most important component of pig production, and that's the food. So when we accept the raw materials onto the farm, they're tipped into this hopper here. That hopper will take about 10 tonnes possibly. That's conveyed out, and the lorry will have to sit for maybe half an hour to get rid of the rest. So from that hopper, it's conveyed out on an elevator. That's underground. It's conveyed out there and drops up here, down this pipe, not this elevator, into these green silos. The mill starts and it draws in, be it wheat, barley and soya, from the green silos outside, through that auger there, which then drops down through a cleaner into the mill. It's milled, and then if we go around here, it's milled and then conveyed into the mixer there. So it's like a cement mixer. So we've got all the raw materials in there, then the minerals are augered into it as well, and also any oil which is kept over there, it's pumped in. The stuff's mixed, then it's up from the mixer, it goes up that elevator there and conveyed into the ready feed bins at the back here at the shed. And then the feed sits in these bins, the augers go to the pig sheds from here. This box here is the brains behind the mill. It's essentially the computer, which can be managed from here or from the PC in the office. This system is completely automatic. All I really need to do is ensure that there's raw materials available for the system to work with. One of the boons of the mill, I think, being able to manufacture our own feed. Firstly, complete control of the diets, control over what we are feeding to our pigs. We're not relying on a feed company to do it for us, and relying on their ingredients. So I've got control over it. The buying of the raw materials is up to me, so if it's too expensive, it's my fault for not buying it well enough. There's a manufacturing saving, which our original calculations, we thought we were saving £20 a tonne, and I think that won't be far off the mark. Kind of food conversion, for the finishing herd, we are feeding just over 2 kilograms of pig food per kilogram of pig meat produced. If we include the breeding herd food as well into that calculation, it comes out at about 3 kilograms. 3 kilograms of pig food to every kilogram of pig meat produced. So thank you very much everybody for joining Wicktown branch for this virtual farm tour. I like to think this was a unique opportunity to have a look at something which under normal circumstances wouldn't have happened. So thanks for getting involved tonight, and I'm now available for any questions.